Hello, everybody. Can everyone hear me? Welcome back. So again, I had the mic muted, but this time I realized quickly that the mic was muted. How's everybody tonight? Welcome back. Feels good to be here. As always, happy to see you all. Whoever's here in the live chat, please let me know. Gustav, what's up, man? How are you? Thanks for being here again. Always good to see you, man. How's the audio sound? I almost made the same mistake I made on the last live. See, what I did last time is I paused the mic so the intro runs and then I don't like say something over the intro. And I started talking. I didn't even realize the mic was paused. But hey, Nick, what's up, man? So guys, it is the holidays. And I wasn't sure if I was going to go live today, seeing as the next 2 days are very important for a lot of people, and maybe not everyone celebrates Christmas, but I'm sure all of you are celebrating some type of holiday. Let me know what you guys are doing, what holidays you do celebrate. Thanks, Gustav, for letting me know the sound is good. That's always a help. It's always kind of how we started out the show, so it's a good ritual. Let me know what part of the world you guys are in, so that way we can talk a little bit about the holidays before we kick off this discussion tonight. William, what's up, man? Welcome back. All right, guys, let's do this. As always, I always ask you guys, if you can, copy the link for the live, share it on Twitter, Facebook, any kind of social media you guys use, so we can get more people here in the live chat, so that the discussion tonight can be fluid and it can, we can get a little deep. Before we start, though, how's everybody doing? Is everybody having a good week? Nick Hayden said Ohio. So, Nick, I assume you're probably celebrating Christmas, right? Or you could be celebrating anything just because you're in Ohio. I don't know why I'm assuming you're celebrating Christmas. Gustav says, glad to be able to catch the live show. Only finished working today. Gustav, I actually finished working about an hour ago as well. And sometimes I try to, I always want to get these lives on Wednesdays, but there's days, when you have a 9 to 5, there's moments where you just don't know if you can muster up the strength to talk about anything. But I actually enjoy this so much, and seeing you guys in the live chat and talking to you guys, that it's not really about me. It's about this discussion, the phenomenon, and helping push this talk in the right direction, and this topic basically. So I guess let's jump into it, right? December, apart from being the holidays and apart from 2020 being a crazy year, December has been quite the month, especially for the UFO topic. A lot of stuff has been going on. A lot of stuff has been happening. We had big things happening. Some things that could have made, I think, a little bit more noise, but they didn't. And it still feels like the ball is rolling, and it's going to continue to roll. And if you notice the title of this video, right, tonight, I said a new year and big changes for TTSA. If you guys have been on UFO Twitter, you've probably heard the news, but it seems like Lue Elizondo, Chris Mellon, and Steve Justice may have already left TTSA, which, for me, it caught me off guard. I don't know about you guys. Did it catch you guys off guard? Let me know in the live chat. Gustav said, doing well, thanks, man. I'm in South Africa. South Africa must be a beautiful place, Gustav. Everything I've ever seen from South Africa looks like a wonderful place. Like, you guys have a lot of different terrains, beautiful locations. Ohio, by the way, Nick, that doesn't mean that Ohio isn't beautiful as well. So what are your thoughts on this news that actually came out on Coast to Coast? George Knapp was interviewing Lue Elizondo, and this, I was listening to it thinking, oh, cool, I'm going to sit down, listen to Lue for a while. George is awesome. And he dropped this bomb, right? He dropped this bomb on all of us. I was like kind of in shock, but when I thought about it, it was a bit understandable, right? The reason why he said that he had to part ways with TTSA was logical, in my opinion. I guess, right? Because it seems like I don't know, that's why I wanted to have this discussion with you guys tonight. Because this one had me a bit like, wow, that's really crazy. I did not see that coming at all. And I'm sure a lot of people in the community felt the same. And to be honest, TTSA To The Stars Academy have done an amazing job, in my opinion. They have really pushed this discussion into the right light and in the correct direction. And they are a team of people, right, dedicated to this. And they have some big, heavy hitters in that team. And Lue Elizondo, Chris Mellon, and Steve Justice, in my opinion, are like the Kobe Bryant, the Michael Jordan, and the, I don't know enough about basketball, the Shaquille O'Neal of TTSA, right? They were like the backbone of TTSA. Tom is the face, right? If you see any interviews with Tom DeLonge, which is somebody that I also respect and I think did an amazing job putting this team together, trying to create TTSA. The mission that they have, in my opinion, is honorable, and they really did do a lot, in these 3 years. They actually earned my trust. It wasn't that I saw, I liked Blink-182 and I saw Tom DeLonge started this group to research the phenomenon and I jumped headfirst in. No. Especially when I noticed that there were, ex-government, people that worked at the Department of Defense and stuff like that on the team. I feel like that was kind of the trickiest part for a lot of the UFO community, and it probably still is to this day, probably the trickiest part. So let me check out the live chat, guys. William Edwards says, with the split from TTSA, I don't expect to see much more big disclosure moments coming from TTSA, but I don't think that means the end of disclosure by any means. And I agree, William. I've actually been thinking, like, I wonder what Tom DeLonge feels about this, right? Because he's been quiet, it seems, for some time now. And personally, if I were the head of TTSA, or if it was my company, and this happened to me, or my friends that were part of the team, that were crucial parts of the team, decided that they wanted to part ways and, do their thing, and they had another mission, and we weren't aligning, obviously because they're your friends, you're going to try and come out to the public and say, like, hey guys, so you probably heard the news, you guys have probably seen what's going on. I want you guys to know that the TTSA message and what we promised we were going to do, we're still going to try and do. We're going to try and, continue what we've been doing. And we're happy that these team members are starting their own journey, and we will be in contact with them and we will work with them. So TTSA isn't over, basically. You know what I mean? That's the first thing I would have done. Even if I was just as surprised as I was when I saw that or when I heard that on Coast to Coast, even if it was my company and I was listening to Coast to Coast and I heard that and that was the first thing I'd heard of it, I would have prepared right away to come out and just tell the public and the investors and the people that are putting money into the company, because I feel like they are a great team, all of them, all of TTSA, right? And like I said, Tom is the face, and the rest of the team, they're like the body, they're the backbone, they're the force. And a lot of people, when they saw Tom come out with this team, and they saw Lue Elizondo there, and Chris Mellon, and Steve Justice, and everyone else that's on TTSA, they basically were like, okay, this is serious. We should invest in this, because I believe that they're going to actually, push disclosure in the right direction, or they're going to find something. But now that they're gone, I'm wondering what investors feel and what they think, apart from wondering what Tom thinks. I mean, who knows? He might be completely okay with it. Maybe he knew it was coming for months, and that's it. You know what I mean? I am happy, though, to see that it seems like Lue is now, because when he first started, at least how I felt, when he first started on TTSA and in the first season of Unidentified and all that kind of stuff, it was like he was kind of a different person. And now he's on Twitter, and he's interacting with the UFO Twitter community, which I think is amazing. We talked on the last live about how sometimes people say that what we do on social media, that you and I right now are not making a difference by discussing the phenomenon, or by looking into this, or having discussions online. There's a lot of people that think, it's just a waste of time. But obviously, he even shouted out UFO Twitter on Coast to Coast, which I thought was awesome. I felt kind of like, look, we are actually doing something that's making people notice us, like Lue Elizondo, and people that are spearheading this idea that we need to find the truth. So it felt good to hear that. I like to see Lue on Twitter interacting with us. I think it's awesome. He's answered our questions. He's been really open with the community. Unlike Tom, Chris Mellon as well has been on Twitter, and he's been interacting with the community. And that's really good to see, because it just makes it feel a little bit more human. It makes us feel like we're all in the search together, like we're all in the same team. We're all in the same fight, right? Let me check out the live chat. I don't want to rant tonight either. But let's see. Gustav said, "Thanks, man." He's talking about South Africa, because we talked about that earlier. He said, "Yeah, South Africa's amazing." He said, "Hearing a lot of rumors about TTSA being broke, and that apparently this has been coming for a while, etc., etc." You guys, I haven't heard that, Gustav. I do know that, I'm assuming, in order to make the moves that they made, you would have to spend a lot of money. And if Tom is taking a lot of that money out of his pocket, or or the budget just wasn't there, but they pushed it either way because they wanted to get the truth out, because Unidentified season 1 and everything they did with Unidentified, the whole series, I feel like it's important, and it changed up the game too. Again, somebody might say, "Oh, it's just another show on television," but they had some really good, credible cases. They basically stayed credible and brought us good data, good information the whole way through. Now, I hope that TTSA is not broke and TTSA is not over, because I am a firm believer that, just like if you listen to the Coast to Coast interview, it's like Lue sort of said that TTSA was going more in the entertainment direction. And I do think that, entertainment is entertainment, but entertainment could be a valuable tool for us. The right kind of entertainment, just like Unidentified was the right kind of entertainment. And we just need to concentrate as people that create entertainment regarding this phenomenon. We need to try to stick to a certain protocol. Don't get too cheesy. Don't bend the rules. Don't, have little green men. If I ever make anything, right, I'm going to try and stick to the actual data and stick to the actual truth, right? Because I think when anyone gets entertained by something, it inspires stuff in a lot of people. and it can inspire people to search for the truth. So if TTSA continues to create entertainment, but like they've been doing, sort of including, the reality of the aspect into it, a lot of people really like TTSA and what they're doing and the whole aspect of the entertainment aspect, right? So I don't know. I just hope it's not. I hope that it doesn't break up, but it does seem like some of the big players are going to be gone. And for me, if that was my company, and I would feel like, unless I knew it was coming, unless we sat down, we talked about it, and I just, I dealt with it, and I already kind of figured out what I was going to do about it, I would feel a little bit like, I lost my star players. And I'm wondering too, like, how will Tom get back through the doors? Because these guys were the guys that were breaking down the doors. These guys were really knocking on doors, and kicking them down, taking names. And Tom, like I said, I can't believe his story and how TTSA began. People don't give him credit for that. Like, imagine being a rock star, right? And you're into UFOs. Use your money and your connections to go down a rabbit hole. That rabbit hole one day gets you to meet with the right people. But you're still a rock star. You're still a guy from California or wherever he's from. I don't know his background really, but I'm pretty sure he's from California. But that must have been intense for him and kind of scary at the same time, because it just seems like, the only real way for us to ever really get to the truth without somebody telling it to us, without somebody like, TTSA or the government or whatever telling us the truth and us believing it, because maybe there's somebody completely normal out there that knows the truth and is just waiting to tell us and we're just not listening. But apart from that, the only way I feel like we can ever truly find the truth is if you get through those doors. If you get into those meetings, even as a fly on the wall, even as a entertainer or whatever, you know what I mean? That is like the highest level, I feel like, of doing research. Like, you can research all you want. You can search and search and search and search. But if you're not there, boots on the ground, looking, down those dark hallways, trying to find the crash craft, trying to hold the metamaterial, trying to meet people all over the world, looking into this, because who knows the lead you could find, who knows the connection you could make, or who knows what cages you're going to rattle. Unless you're that person, and hopefully that person will turn around and tell us the truth without any sort of, limitations to that. But that person knows what's actually going on. The rest of us are waiting for that person to come and tell us. So what Tom did, I feel like, is he took that journey. He created this group and he started this company that actually was really inspiring to me, because I always felt like what I just said to you guys about, the only way you can ever really get there is if you go there, right? If you take the risk, you meet those scary, powerful people, and you try to get the answers, for yourself and for everyone else. Because a big part of looking into the phenomenon as well is it's a personal journey, right? Like, I'm here and I ask you guys to join me on my search for the truth, and you have, and I feel honored and I feel blessed that you're all here. Like Mike is here. He said, hey, he's talking to people there in the live chat. What's up, Mike? And each of you matter, and each of you are on your own personal journey and search for the truth. But what Tom DeLonge did and what he has done, in my opinion, is really badass, right? I understand, sometimes he could share some photos or some videos that, are hoaxes, or maybe he's just goofing around. We don't know him personally. We don't know his personality. And he's got a big level of responsibility at this point. And maybe he just wasn't used to having that kind of responsibility. He is a rock star, right? All right, so I'm going to stop ranting and look at the live chat. Let's check it out. Gustav said, dude, I love secret machines. Well, that's what I'm saying, man. It's like, we still need secret machines. Secret machines was important as well. It wasn't as important as, I mean, some people might think it wasn't as important as some of the other stuff that the other team was doing. Other parts of the TTSA team were doing. But I think secret machines, I hear it all come up all the time. And people talking about references from secret machines and what they learned from secret machines. I met people that actually were looking into the phenomenon just because they read secret machines. So entertainment is important, but we need to not be cheesy. We need to keep it real and authentic. Obviously, if the secret machines books and covers didn't look cool, if there's no explosions, then nobody's going to be interested. Nobody that's not interested into the topic. What you want to do is catch their attention. Once they get past the explosions and the gunshots and the crazy sci-fi, graphics and all this kind of stuff, and they look deeper into the film that they fell in love with, they start to think about it. But yeah, what's up, guys, tonight? How are you guys doing for the holidays? How's everybody? I hope everybody has an awesome holiday, honestly. It's been a hell of a year. It's been a rough year. I lost one of my dog. I was going to say my best friend, but I didn't want to confuse you guys. I lost my dog this year. He had a tumor, and he was fighting it. Quarantine started, and then, I'm glad. The only thing I'm glad about that is that I actually got to spend a lot of time with him before he passed. But he was like my sidekick, my partner. I've said it a bunch of times. It was like whenever I did research or talked about anything, I'd be talking to him about it. I still have another partner here. Sometimes you'll see her in the background of these videos. Her name's Nala. But I lost, family members as well this year. We couldn't see them, because of COVID. And COVID has just been rough for everybody being quarantined. And, yeah, so I hope that you guys are all doing well. And I hope that if any of you have lost anybody you care about to the pandemic or just from anything else, right, that you guys know that you're not alone, right? A lot of people have lost stuff this year, people, friends, family, and it's been a rough year, and 2021 is coming. And from what I've seen in December on the UFO topic, going back to that, it looks like we are heading in a direction that we weren't expecting. At least I wasn't expecting this news about, Lue taking it into second gear, which I think is awesome, and breaking off from TTSA with Chris Mellon to start like a new mission, a global mission, which I think is so important. But I wasn't expecting that. Just like I wasn't expecting any of these aspects of disclosure or what we've been living for the last 3 years. I never thought it would happen like that. Everything has been kind of, I say it all the time, like ripped out of the pages of a comic book. You got the rock star that started this company that ended up, leaking 3 videos that I think are some of the most important pieces of evidence that we've ever seen. Getting the whole paradigm to shift and people to start talking about this subject seriously. So it's been a few crazy years. 2020 just put the cherry on top. 2021 is coming, and I don't think much is going to change for us guys. I think, I think that, the vaccines are going to start being spread around the world and stuff like that. There's going to be a lot of people that don't want to take them. It's going to be a whole issue with that. We got to wait and see what's going to happen in 2021. But with the UFO topic, we are shaking, we are moving, and it looks like Lue and Chris Mellon and Steve Justice, right? I'm not sure exactly what second gear is, what he's talking about, taking it to second gear. I understand that he has this mission to make this more of like an international or like a global thing, right? Which I think is super important. And it's something I've said all the time. Like, the UFO phenomenon is global. This phenomenon affects everybody all around the world, interacts with everyone. There is no boundaries, there is no barriers for this phenomenon. This phenomenon doesn't care who you are, what you do. If it wants you, it wants you. Do you know what I mean? If it's going to interact with you, it's going to interact with you. So let's check out the live chat. You guys are sharing Christmas trees. Nick said, I'm sorry, animals are family members. Yeah, they are, 100%. But, you know, I'm sure I'll see them in another life. I'm sure I've seen them in many other lives on different timelines. I'll see them again. You know, it's difficult, but I'll see them again. Let's check it out. So Sunny said, so the UFO that emits light, aka light dots, that just appears from nowhere, I think that's a ripple that they open from their world to our world. If you look at Skinwalker Ranch, some of those stories there, you'll hear about portals and craft coming out of portals, and it's not the only time that gets brought up. And until we can really understand how these craft travel, what the capabilities are of these craft, we're not going to know if they can travel through, portals or dimensions. What we do know at this moment in time is that they have transmedium travel, so they can fly through the sky, they can fly through the ocean. I mean, there's footage online of, I think it was in Nicaragua, correct me guys if I'm wrong, where you see the craft actually splits apart, it goes through the ocean, it flies over the city. And I mean, what the capabilities these craft have, and if these beings that we've been seeing throughout this whole time, the Greys and all these kinds of UFO occupants, if these are the real creatures that are in that craft, the real beings that are in that craft, then it wouldn't be too far-fetched to think that they are from, like, another dimension or something, because it seems like to me they've been here this whole time, right? And like I said just 2 minutes ago, they're affecting the whole world, and I feel like there's a big influence on human culture that people overlook that this phenomenon has, right? So you never know. I mean, Mike Knapp said 2021 is going to be the year. Mike, I hope so. I hope that 2021, I'm not going to get my hopes up, because I'm sure, one thing I've noticed too, because I look a lot into the past, I like to look at old cases and old data, and I've noticed there's flaps, right? And there's been moments in the past where people have been like, disclosure is coming right now. And I'm talking in the 80s. I'm talking before that, and I sometimes I worry that we're kind of like in that same mode, because at their time they had some some case or some data that they thought was smoking gun, that something was coming next. And I know that that's probably me just being weary and me just watching my back a little bit, not getting my hopes up. But I think you may be right. I mean, this year's been pretty crazy in general, right? Reality's changed completely for most people around the world. Like, literally, we're all wearing masks. Reality's getting pretty crazy right now. So, guys, let me know what you think about the change, about this idea that TTSA, is losing some of their most valuable members. Do you think Tom knew about this? Do you think it caught him off guard like it caught us off guard? Are you guys happy about the change? When I'm going to read you guys a quote real quick from Lue's interview on Coast to Coast. He said, I think the time has come for us to shift into second gear. So that's what I was talking about earlier, second gear. There are several things we are looking at that would take the conversation truly to the global stage. He said, History Channel is very good, bringing the conversation to the American audience. Perhaps it's time we take the conversation truly global to the international stage. Now, maybe, the vibe I got from that comment is that maybe they're going to make like a full feature film. Like some, like James Fox is the phenomenon, but like maybe like an unidentified film. That might be it. I mean, who knows? I also feel like I'm just waiting to figure out what they're going to do. Like, if he is going to somehow work with people around the world. Hey, Lou, if you ever see this, I'm in Argentina, so just let me know if you're ever in Argentina and you want to go on an adventure. I'm more than happy and more than down to work with lots of ufologists out there. And Lue's not a ufologist, but I think you guys get my drift. Let me see. Boromer says, "What's happening, Earthlings? Sorry I'm late. What did you miss? Or what did I miss?" You didn't miss anything, man. We were just talking about Lue and Chris Mellon and Steve Justice leaving TTSA and our thoughts on that. But nothing too crazy. So, actually, that's pretty crazy. William Edwards said, "I think Tom knew, and I think he's probably going to get some inside knowledge from Elizondo and gang going forward." Oh, for sure. You know, that's more of the direction I'm leaning in, right? Like, or even, like, let's say he didn't know, right? I don't think their relationship is ruined. You know, Lue actually tweeted something, I think, one sec, I don't want to sneeze. Lue actually tweeted something, I think, when was it? Today. He said, "New dawn, new beginning, same friends." Right? So there we go. Something seems like he's trying to clarify that they're still friends, right? 2021 is shaping up to be a banner year. That's pretty crazy. I mean, I'm not sure what that means, basically. But that's probably just because I don't know what that means. In the midst of shifting into second gear, with plenty of room for all to jump on board. Exactly. So what I was just saying a second ago, the message I looked out to the camera and said, "Hey, Lue, if you need anybody in Argentina, I'm over here, man. If you need to work with somebody here, you need somebody to carry a camera, do whatever. I'm the guy." And then he said, "Thanks to amazing UFO Twitter and others for your continued support." And again, I mean, really cool to see him actually using hashtag UFO Twitter. Because there's some people on Twitter that actually think, you know, hashtag UFO Twitter is a joke or a cult, or that we're all, you know, just mad or something. And we're really not. You know, there's always, like I've said in the past, there's always people that are not going to vibe with the group, or people that just don't have, or they're just not serious about the topic, or they're not in the topic. They're not doing this as seriously as we are, as some of us are. Right? And there's nothing wrong with that. Not everybody needs to be going live and, you know, making films or doing research every single day. That's not what this is about. Like I said, it's a personal journey. But I do think that UFO Twitter and everyone on Twitter and on social media that discusses this topic is helping. And then check this out. So then somebody says, "Alien exists." On Twitter, he asked Lue, he says, "Was this TTSA departure planned? Give us some hints as to what comes next, Lue." And then Lue said, this was at 8 hours ago, he said, "Our mission was never to increase awareness, only in the U.S. It was to ensure a serious global conversation takes place." I'm telling you, global phenomenon. We've been talking about it, guys. I mean, it's hard to ignore that, you know? And if you're going to look at a phenomenon, or at this phenomenon, something alien, something not from this earth or not from this reality, what I always hoped is it would bring us closer together as a species, so we would understand that planet Earth is actually our home, that all these borders that we live in, all these different places that we live in, that those lines are just lines drawn on a map, that when you grab a map, those colors that you see, you know, for each different country, they're just colors on a map. It has nothing to do with, you know, with who you are and what we are. We're all the same. We're all just flesh and bone. You know what I mean? We are all coming from the same place. So that's what I was hoping that the phenomenon would bring. You know, understanding the truth that there is something out there would unify us as a species. And it seems like what Lue is kind of hinting at about this being, you know, taking this to a global stage, because it's something that the whole world needs to be talking about, because it affects us all. So maybe it'll bring us closer together. I mean, that's what I hope. Let's check out the live chat again, guys. Thank you all for being here, man. Again, I love doing these. So thank you, really, guys. Let's see. Tony. Tony said, banner equals fantastic, impressive. Okay, cool. See, because I would say banger. Just because I don't have that level of... I've never said that before, banner, but that makes sense. So yeah, he's right though. It's been a fantastic year for this topic. You know, in my opinion, it's been a pretty fantastic few years. I wouldn't be sitting here today doing this. The channel would never be about, you know, I don't think I would have ever taken this topic so seriously if I hadn't been, you know, the fire wasn't lit when the paradigm kind of shifted a few years back. I mean, I've always been into this topic fully, always, but when the news started talking about it, and it was like we had the, you know, the gimbal, the go fast, the FLIR, and then they started saying like these are real unidentified aerial phenomenon. Then I was like, this is okay. I have to take all those years that I spent looking into this and actually not give this up and keep searching, because the truth is out there. I know it sounds cheesy, but definitely. William Edwards said, kick it into second gear, baby. And that's only second gear. We're still missing the rest of the gears. You know what I mean? Second gear is not that fast, so let's see what happens next. I mean, I'm just trying to figure out like what it means. You know, like what's the plan? It's probably something awesome, but let me keep looking at his tweets here. Let's see if he responded to anybody else. His tweets from today. Engaging the Phenomenon created this really cool. If you guys don't know who Engaging the Phenomenon is, check out his channel. He's a friend of the channel. This picture of Lue, and it says, I'm with Lue. Hashtag I'm with Lue. And there's a lot of people from around the world that support TTSA, support Lue. It's crazy too. There's a lot of people here from around the world right now in the live chat, which is something that really, you know, in the past I thought that it was just an idea I had. You know, I knew there were cases from all around the world, but I really never got engulfed or really got to meet people that were into the topic. So when I started to see you guys from all over the place, and me being from Argentina, and, you know, knowing that there are cases from everywhere, and some of the best cases are actually, you know, from different parts of the planet. It's not a U.S.-based phenomenon. You know, it's not just about, you know, England and the U.S. It's about the whole entire world. And some of the smaller places have some of the crazier cases. So I'm trying to find, sorry guys, I'm scrolling through his Twitter trying to see if he responded to anybody today. So somebody else said, any hints, Lou, or more insight on what second gear may entail? And he's responding to these questions, and he seems like he didn't respond to any of the other ones, but the ones that were they're asking him about second gear, he responds. He says, hey Joe, sometimes to accomplish the mission, we must reposition ourselves on the battlefield. That is precisely what is occurring. The battle space is not static. And then he said, thanks for asking. Wow. Some pretty powerful tweets. I mean, I never thought I'd say those are some pretty powerful tweets in my life, but they are. And then he's interacting with people. Somebody said, thank you, Lou, for not turning your back on us. I never believed you would, but I also never saw the departure coming. Like I said, a lot of people caught off guard. The sky is not falling. A new dawn only brings new opportunities. Can't wait to see where this goes. And then he put a GIF, which is from Jaws. It's the you're gonna need a bigger boat. So it seems like he's trying to figure out a way to include all of us, which is interesting and fascinating. Let me look at the live chat, guys. Let's see. Mark Mack said, so is it just Lou who is leaving TTSA? What about Mellon? Mark, it's actually Lou, Chris Mellon, and Steve Justice, from what I understand. Which is what I was saying, they're basically losing some of their strongest players, right? If this were a team, it's like you're losing your star players. William Edwards says, I got a fever and disclosure is the only cure. And Gustav cleared it up for Mark. He said Mark, Mellon, and Justice both are leaving as well. And Gustav said, I'm curious about Dr. I think it says Dr. Hal, so you must be referring to Hal Puthoff, right? Or what his plans are at the moment. Hal Puthoff's still an advisor to the Sapphire Project. I'm betting Sapphire makes some big announcements next year. I agree. I looked, I mean, obviously I pay attention to Hal Puthoff. I think he's done a lot of good work. And, you know, different ideas and different concepts. I look at every different idea, different concept. Something I was hearing I can't remember where it was, but they were talking about the negative aspects of the phenomenon and the abduction phenomenon. And it was funny because it seemed like let me see if I can find where that discussion was happening. But it seemed like, oh, one second, guys. One moment. That's the crazy thing about going live. It's like, I know you guys are there, and I don't want to drop the ball, but I'm trying to find something real quick to see if we can talk about this for a second. I might not be able to. Let's see. I should have probably done that before. Oh, Hal Puthoff. Okay, yeah. So yeah, I was mixing Hal Puthoff up with somebody else, but I'm like you guys said, I mean, he's going to still be on I'm assuming he's still going to be part of the team. If they haven't clarified that he's going to be leaving, he's still going to be an advisor and advising. And, you know, at the end of the day, Tom DeLonge made a lot of good contacts, and he's met the right people. And TTSA might not be done. There might be more people out there, you know, that are just as important as these players were, and we just haven't seen them yet. And maybe what Tom will do is bring more people into the light and onto his team that will help grow the phenomenon. You know what I mean? Help grow the search for the phenomenon. I honestly, guys, this whole time I've been surprised at how everything is playing out. You know, there are people in this search right now that I never would have believed would have been looking for the truth. You know, Lue Elizondo is an amazing, seems like he's an awesome person from what I've seen, right? I don't know him personally, but from what I've seen and what, you know, the vibe he gives off, it seems like he's an awesome person. A long time ago, I would have had a difficult time trusting anyone that was ex-government, right? That maybe the younger me. The older me is a bit more understanding. Right, I understand. I'm not, you know, I have no quarrel or no beef or no hate towards anyone, really. And I totally get, you know, why, you know, brave service men and women do what they do. Basically, I get it. I do wish that, you know, wars and these kinds of things didn't actually need to happen, but it's part of the construct that we live in. It's part of this world that we currently live in. Like, I was actually really worried too a while ago that this whole interest in the phenomenon is not only to, I mean, to be honest, it's not only to find the truth, but it's sort of like a race to get the best weapon, right? I'm not saying that Lue Elizondo or any, you know, Chris Mellon, or they're doing that, but I think somewhere in the government, if they can turn a UFO into a weapon and be ahead of the Russians and the Chinese, you know, if the U.S. can get that weapon first, they're going to want it first because they don't want any of their other enemies or their enemies, right, to get it and to turn it into a weapon, because then that would just leave everyone else in the dust, and all the citizens of those different locations would be in trouble, right? But I try to think too, just because of all the cases of crash retrievals and sort of Bob Lazar's story, and this idea that if there were ever crashes and they did ever retrieve tech, they're probably already working and figuring out a way to turn this stuff into a weapon. Sooner or later it's going to happen. And that's not going to stop me from trying to find the truth. That idea, everything gets turned into a weapon sooner or later, it seems. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. Again, glad that you're all here. I'm happy to be here. Holidays right around the corner. The year's almost over. 2021 looks like it's going to be a crazy year, as Lue said in his tweet, and as you guys cleared up, a banner. A banner year. Hey, Crooked Bangs, how are you? I can't, what I'm doing, now that I'm in this room and I'm live streaming from this room, I have a smaller television, right, that I'm using as with an HDMI cord to see what's going on. And some of the messages, they look super small. I might need to get glasses. Imagine the gaucho with glasses. No, that's not a good look for me. I don't think so. Borimer said, the more voices spreading the word and trying to get the truth out, the better, in my opinion. I agree, man. 100%. The more voices, that's why all of you matter. That's why this whole situation, that's why everyone here right now in this live chat, everyone on Twitter, everyone that grabs a book about this topic, everyone that sits down with somebody, on a Friday night and brings up the topic, it all matters. It all matters. I do not understand how anyone would ever think that what we do doesn't matter. And like I said earlier, seeing Lue Elizondo bring up UFO Twitter on Coast to Coast, I felt like that was a great sign that even the UFO Twitter community is making a difference. He had some really kind words to say about the community there. And like I said, I always have UFO Twitter's back. I've actually unfollowed some people, not because of beef between UFOs, because of beef on UFO Twitter, but because of literal hate towards UFO Twitter. Somebody that you guys would probably be surprised that I unfollowed, but I just had to. They were just, talking nonsense, and it was after I saw a few tweets, I heard a few things, and then I was like, you know what? I don't even want to see this on my, on my timeline. So gone. So yeah, I got UFO Twitter's back 100%, and you guys have had my back ever since I got on UFO Twitter and started using the hashtag UFO Twitter. I actually started meeting awesome people. I'm glad that there are things like that. The other day, Sukulos said that we were profiling ourselves by using hashtag UFO Twitter. I thought that was funny, seeing as he is the alien meme guy. He's also done a lot of work for the topic. If you've ever watched Ancient Aliens, I haven't watched it in a very long time, but I am somebody that believes in the ancient astronaut hypothesis. Not everything that is on Ancient Aliens, obviously, but I'm a believer in the ancient astronaut hypothesis. So, yeah, but I thought it was funny that he was saying that we were profiling ourselves. I honestly feel like at this point, me personally, look at me right now on this live. I don't think I could be any more profiled if there is a profile out there. They have my name and my address probably, and they know I go live on Wednesdays. Yeah, so, oh guys, do me a favor. Like Mike Knapp said, thumbs up. Make sure to, hit the thumbs up button. Share the video, right? Let's get more people in here. I'm not even sure how long we've been talking for tonight so far. Let me see. 1 second, guys. How's the stream doing? Is it lagging? Is it not lagging? I can't tell. I think my internet is running a little behind today. So 50 minutes. So I say we go 10 more minutes, And then I'm going to wish you guys a happy holiday again. I've done it like 3 times already. But really today, like I said, I wasn't sure if I was going to go live this week just because it's the holidays. You know, everything's kind of moving around in my house, and we're just getting ready for the festivities, even though I'm not going to do anything really other than probably hang out with my wife for the holidays, which is unfortunate because I would love to see my mother and father and my brothers, but I don't think that's going to happen. I'm pretty sure that's not going to happen just because personally I just don't feel comfortable, you know, running the risk of getting them sick by meeting up with them, or I don't know, you know the deal, you know the reality everybody's living in right now. So yeah, I wasn't sure if I was going to go live today, but I felt like this topic was important. We needed to talk about it, and I wanted to hear what you guys had to say about it. Just because, like, this is really probably a flip 180. This is something like a 360, right? It's just, I was super surprised to see that Lue was going to leave TTSA. Because for me, he was like kind of like the face other than Tom. Even though earlier I was saying Tom was the face, but I feel like Lue was so important, such a big role in TTSA. And you saw him more on Unidentified, and he was just kind of out there, right? He was like kind of like leading the charge. And now it seems like we're going to have to wait and see what comes next from everybody, you know, which is kind of cool. It's kind of giving me some, you know, butterflies in my stomach, anticipation. Oh, by the way, guys, if you haven't watched the last uploads I did, some people were commenting on those, and totally understandable. They were thinking that those recordings of, you know, close encounters with craft and humanoids were from a radio show. They are not from a radio show. They were uploaded. They're like from an archive, from the archive webpage online. I think it's like archive.com or something. I found them a long time ago, and I downloaded them now because it was a bunch. I found the link, I bookmarked it, and then I downloaded it now. And during the last 2 weeks, I haven't been able to like film like normal videos like I normally do, which is like, you know, me talking to the camera and throwing in some graphics or some animation and trying to tell you guys a case or a concept or a story, asking you guys a question. So I started uploading these recordings to try to bring a little bit of light to those stories so they don't get forgotten. But some people were saying like, oh, it sounds like a radio show, or this person sounds like they're lying. Now, what's interesting about those cases is that it's a hotline. It's the New Fork hotline, right? And it's in the 60s, you know, I think it was 67. I might be mixing it up now, but it's in the past, right? And they're calling this hotline. So there's no reason for them to call the hotline and just make a whole story up, because nobody's going to hear that. The only reason why we're hearing that is because somebody took the time to record those and like upload those somewhere. I don't think those were ever supposed to see the light of day, and they did. So just to answer any questions, you know, some people were, you know, telling me, oh, it seems like this person's over exaggerating a little bit, or this person's making it up. And I actually listened to like 150 recordings the other day, right? And then I listened to more and more and more. And the ones that I thought were actually maybe somebody not well, or somebody that just found the number and was prank calling, I did not include those in any videos yet. And there's still a bunch more. So I still have a lot more to watch. But I really want to get back to making content, you know, that inspires me, which is like my normal content. Where I can do some editing and I can throw in some music and really give you guys something entertaining to watch while giving you guys a question or talking about a topic. So I will do that again. I'm trying to get back in the groove after those 2 weeks that I couldn't do that. But everyone seemed to really like the last upload, the humanoid encounters. So I'm going to keep trying to share those. So if you see another one pop up maybe tomorrow, I might, you know, maybe tonight I'll listen to some more cases, try to find another good case, and then share one more tomorrow. But I still think I'm gonna, you know, don't worry, I'm not just gonna keep uploading old audio recordings, even though I think they're so important, because it just shows you that the aspects and the observables are the same observables. The craft is the same kind of craft we've been seeing this whole time. These different shapes are the same shapes. Nothing is bending too far from what we know. You know what I mean? There's a few times you hear of a craft that you don't understand, but nothing really ever, goes away from the sphere, the triangle shaped craft, the cylinder shaped craft, the orbs, right? The orbs coming together to make what seems like a solid craft. These V-shaped craft. It's all kind of the same catalog of craft, which is super fascinating to me, and that's why I share those things, right? That's why I do that. Also, so you could hear the voice of the actual person that experienced it right after they experienced it. If you could hear, if I had an experience and I saw a craft with beings waving at me from the craft or pointing at me through the craft, I might actually sound like I'm making it up, because I would sound like I'm full of energy or like I don't understand what's going on. You never know how somebody reacts to that. But I hope you guys liked it, and I saw that a lot of people liked it and they appreciate it. So I'm going to keep trying to do those. But I got to think of a new topic for a new video this weekend that I can film and do some editing on. Something, more cinematic, something that I can do, get my juices flowing for the holidays. Let's check out the live chat. Greg said, humanoid encounters upload was great. Thank you, Greg. I mean, really, I'm not like a huge fan of making those kinds of videos, but I felt like the concept and the content was so important that I'm gonna make another one like that if I can, and like if I find some more good cases. Because the other day, like I said, I listened to 150 cases and I took 3 or 4, right? I think I've uploaded 3 videos like that already. So I took a handful of cases after listening to 150 cases. There are still some that I cataloged, like good case, listen to this one, but then some really caught my attention, and those were the ones I've been using. Let's see. Let's check out the live chat again. Bormer said, never know what's around the corner. Exciting times. I agree, man. 100% exciting times. This whole concept, everything we're talking about now, was all because, for me, I was caught super off guard by this news, right? So definitely exciting times. Alien Girl 111. She said, hi, Undead Gaucho. Hey, Alien Girl, how are you? She's saying hi to everybody in the live chat. Sofa, what's up, man? He said, I love the Rendlesham Forest audio recording. Well, I actually made a small clip. I used a small clip of the Rendlesham audio recording, right? I think I put it on Instagram or something. I used it actually on Twitter. I created a small tiny clip for that. But I could take the whole Rendlesham audio and try to do something interesting with it. Maybe that might be kind of cool. Also, one thing I do see a lot when I bring up Rendlesham is a lot of backlash towards Rendlesham, which I think is ridiculous, because I think it's a very, very important case, and we have actual audio recordings from the situation, like from the encounter, and we know that some of the people that had that close encounter were actually affected physically. So I think it's one of the legendary cases that nobody should forget. But some people, when I bring up Rendlesham, they jump on my throat. But I'm probably going to use that audio. That's a good idea, because I have it and I've done something with it. I would just have to figure out how to make something. I wish I could do something with those audios, and every time they're talking about something, use a visual to represent that, right? But in order to get licensing and stuff for that kind of stuff, like, I'll probably need to pay for it. So maybe it'll be a tool I give myself for Christmas, but it'll help me all around if I have a tool like that. So Bormer said, whatever you put up is of interest. Keep it coming. Thank you, Bormer, man. Being super kind to me. Thank you. Gustav said, the Undead Gaucho, any thoughts on the third phase UFO report that shows that's now on Amazon? That's a proper leap and a big positive in my opinion, G. Thoughts on the third phase UFO report show? I haven't actually checked it out. I'll check it out, Gustav. Does it have anything to do with third phase of moon? Greg S. said, Dr. Hynek thought humanoid encounters were the most compelling as well. I'm glad I'm following in the same vibe as Mr. Hynek, as the doctor himself. One of my, definitely somebody I always look up to. I feel like a lot of these people that come in as skeptics and become believers are the most strong believers that we'll ever come across. So Hynek is one. I feel like Lue's one of those kinds of people. And I feel like everyone, too, when you look into this, sooner or later, you get to a point where you feel a bit like a skeptic. You start to get a little skeptical. And that's kind of what pushes you to become a real, true believer sooner or later. Realizing that your skepticism, you can't explain what you're seeing or what you're reading or the cases you've gone through. I've gone through so many cases and looked at so much stuff and have had some strange experiences in my life that, like, at this point in my life, I'm a true believer 100%. I mean, it's funny too, I often think, like, what do my friends from back home, from California, think if they see me, being, as the Undead Gaucho? I'm not really worried about it, right? But I do think they'll probably be like, well, what? Wow, look at, like, the path he's taken. But I'm honored to be here in this path and to be doing this. I really am. I feel like it's something so important. I feel like I have, I'm adding purpose to my life, right, by doing this stuff. And I'm doing what I love, and I'm learning how to use my camera better, and I think I'm going to keep trying to grow. Maybe I'll create some other forms of entertainment. I'm thinking of working on projects to really add value to the community and to help us, right? I don't want it just to be, about videos and me doing this, even though this is, for me, super important and it's what I love to do. But I want to go further if I can, just to help everyone, right? And to take you guys with me, and to, like I said, we need to get through those closed doors. I said it earlier, down those dark hallways. We need to talk to those intimidating people to try to find the truth, and who knows what'll happen, right? Just don't give up, guys. That's my probably biggest advice for everyone, is don't give up searching for the truth ever. And there's a lot of you probably here now that have been looking to this topic for years and years and years. William Edwards says, a friend of mine was stationed at Rendlesham a few years back. Every GI ever stationed there knows about the UFO incident. I'm sure, William. I mean, the legend there and that experience has been there. Like, it just resonates, right? I think in the forest, if I'm not mistaken, there's a replica of the craft that was seen that night. Or it's supposed to represent the craft that was seen that night. Or that was seen during those nights, better said. Greg S. says, he always said the best case in his opinion was Socorro, New Mexico. That's a good case. I'm loving to see all you guys talk to each other. I love when I look over and you guys are, like, interacting in the live chat. I feel like that's super important. I feel good about that, because I'm like, you guys are actually interacting with each other, and the community is actually strong, That's something too I've been trying to focus on and figure out how I can make not only this community grow, but make it a strong community, right? Not just something where, like, you, like, don't feel like you know me. That's what these lives are for. I want you guys to feel like you know me, at least a part of me, right? Because unless you truly can sit with me in the flesh, I don't know if you'll know me fully, right? But I think with these lives, you will get to understand who I am, and I'll get to learn about you guys. So we're gonna be a strong community in 2021, that's for sure. And I don't see us slowing down, right? Because I got all you guys supporting me. You guys all have my back. You're all joining me on the search for the truth. We're all on this journey together. So, yeah, guys, look, I think it's been about an hour. Like I said, I jumped on this one tonight just because the topic just seemed right, seemed like something real that we should talk about. If Lue Elizondo ever sees this live, which I doubt, but if he ever does, I'm grateful that he's been so kind to us here on to the community and to UFO Twitter and to all of us that believe in him, right? And if Chris Mellon, all of TTSA, even Tom, like, thank everyone for what you've done, because it really does make a difference. And yeah, and thank all of you guys, right? I think I'm gonna clock out now. So, as always, guys, it's been an honor. It's been a pleasure. I hope you have a wonderful holidays wherever you are in the world. Just know, I'm thinking about you. I got your back always, and we'll talk soon. And if on the side note, thank you to my patrons. If any of my patrons are here in the live chat, thank you so much. It means a lot. I know these are difficult times for everybody around the world, so any support that you guys have been getting, support on Patreon is crazy for me. It's mind-blowing. I never thought I'd ever see anything on Patreon. And it helps, right? Helps me upgrade my gear and stuff like that. So thank you guys. And if you want to support me on Patreon, there'll be a link in the replay, or you can, find, there's a link probably on the main page, on the main channel page up in the corner. But yeah, guys, have a Merry Christmas. Have a Happy New Year. We'll see each other probably next week, before New Year's. And I promise to be a little more organized for that live. Like I said, this one was kind of off the top. But yeah, guys, I love you all. Hope you have a happy holiday, and we'll talk soon, okay? And again, most important thing about the message here tonight is never stop searching for the truth. 2021 is going to be a crazy year, and December still isn't over yet. All right, guys, have a good night, and thank you all for being here.